What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires and right on cue. Just as soon as they wrapped up with the finale of What If Season 3, they dropped the brand new trailer for the upcoming Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which goes live on Disney Plus next month. We're going to go through it because honestly, I feel like this is actually a really fresh take on a bunch of story points that we know and offers a brand new look, an exciting look at what Marvel Studios can do with animation to differ itself from live action. Tons of references and Easter eggs you might have missed. We're going to go through the whole thing with a fine-tooth comb, try to point them all out, as well as explain what's going on with the plot and how we now know how Norman Osborn and Peter Parker link up. We're breaking it all down, the brand new trailer for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Plus, our very next video will announce a PS5 winner for the finale of What If. This is the last video to get in on that giveaway, so make sure to hit the sub button, leave a comment down below if you want. Stick around at the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so the trailer opens up with an homage to the original Spider-Man cartoon all the way back in 1967, where we hear the old school Spider-Man, Spider-Man theme song playing in the background. That brings us up to an image of what's a new take with this Spider-Man and Harry Osborn. That's right, Harry Osborn under his arm on where Spider-Man first appeared in the comics in Amazing Fantasy 15. Then we get an immediate look at the brand new animation style that Marvel has decided to implement for this cartoon for Spider-Man, and I love it. With the particular shading and the way that it's drawn, it's made to look like a comic book in motion. Now, as we start to get immersed in this trailer, there's a lot of things that are familiar from Spider-Man lore. For instance, he goes to Midtown High. But as the characters start to get introduced one by one, still some of them we don't know for sure, and as we start to see the plot and things unfold, you realize they're drawing from a lot of Spider-Man stories, including the MCU. Now, right off the bat, we don't know who this person on the left is, and the way that Peter Parker acts embarrassed after his interaction with her seems to maybe imply she may be Mary Jane, but there's also a chance that the person next to him in the blue lipstick might be Gwen Stacy, and again, this isn't revealed even if you turn the dialogue on. Now, even though Spider-Man's suit initially leaves a lot to be desired, as they'll make fun of him a little bit later in this trailer, you see very clearly written right there, mask ideas. He's in class doodling like we all did, except he's drawing the classic Spider-Man costume, his dream of what he could achieve, but he obviously doesn't have the means. That's why when we see him excuse himself from class to go stop a robbery all awkwardly, he is actually dressed in, well, you know, a homemade version of the costume that's maybe what you'd expect from a high school kid. You see him swinging next to some kids waving, and in a moment here, he's going to end up saving Harry Osborn. Again, right there as he falls over the car, he swoops up Harry Osborn and then gets cornered in an alley where they are live streaming, apparently assaulting this kid, which is a little weird, but nuisance streamers do exist, and of course, Norman Osborn would be rich and famous in this universe, so would his son Harry. That's why they may be streaming this in for clout. Now, if you notice on the screen names that are scrolling across, the very first one, or one of the first ones, is Jay Wilcox. That's a shout out to Marvel colorist John Wilcox, who worked on Spectacular Spider-Man. There's also a line from Dumb and Dumber, Kick His Ass, Seabass, as well as a reference to the Avengers, calling him the new Avengers trash man, meaning there's an Avengers in this universe. We'll have that confirmed a little bit later on. Now we see him swinging by the iconic train that, of course, Tobey Maguire's so famous for stopping in his scene in the first Spider-Man. Then you see Spider-Man fist bumping with what looks like Flash Thompson, who's usually not cool with Spider-Man, but might be dapping him up or thanking him because he was able to save Harry Osborn. We then see Spider-Man swing into action and do exactly what he did with the car from the scene when Tony Stark confronts our Tom Holland's Peter Parker about being Spider-Man. That's the exact catch, swinging in and catching the SUV. Which is really interesting to see a show now adapting the MCU as one of the origin stories, when that was the one that was looking at the origin stories and changing it not so long ago. Well, I say that, it feels like not so long ago, but it's been a while. This may be Cletus Cassidy, the Flame, who we're familiar with as a Spider-Man antagonist, as well as a reference here to who I think might be Electro, but then we get some really interesting shots where you see Norman Osborn posed with Captain America. Like I said, we now can basically confirming there's an Avengers in this universe, and then we see the whole crux of the plot, where they now are adapting the story of, instead of Tony Stark, a actual hero trying to take Spider-Man under his wing, give him some tech and help him flourish. Now it's Norman Osborn, presumably as an extension from the storyline where he saves Harry Osborn, and as a thank you, Norman Osborn says, hey, I can be this kid's mentor, and we're going to get to see how this plays out now with a twist where what happens if Tony Stark had been evil and a villain? Well, then Spider-Man would have had to go against him, and said this time there's going to be that mentor relationship, except he's not going to be a good guy. That's unless they are going to change Norman Osborn, but he seems pretty ominous in this trailer to begin with. Again, he's voiced by Coleman Domingo, the guy who's heavily rumored to be replacing Kang, who's still talking about a live action role that might not be Norman Osborn. But the way I see this all playing out, and I'm calling it now, is if people like this Spider-Man show and his Norman Osborn portrayal, he might end up being the MCU's Norman Osborn down the road, and that's if Sony and Marvel can never get, well, Sony can never get their act together, let all the characters be in the MCU, but this is something for Spider-Man 5 and down the road. Now, I was initially thinking, do we need another animated Spider-Man show? We've got the Spider-Verse, we've had, well, some misses at Disney Plus, and I was wondering how I would feel about this. I usually go into things with an open mind. Guys, I'm all in on this show. This seems really awesome. It's not meant to rival the MCU. It's not meant to be a part of the MCU. It's just meant to be a different take on Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, and so I'm all in. I was also curious on this art style. There were some early takes and some behind-the-scenes footage from when we saw it earlier this year at Comic-Cons, where I was not too thrilled. I actually thought it looked pretty bad, but I really feel like that's just the style when it was re-recorded, because there are, well, you know, a lot of details that aren't filled in. It's meant to look like a comic book panel, and maybe something recording that secondhand just doesn't capture the flair, but this actually looks amazing on all levels. Great art, great story. I'm in for that. Some adaptations of the stuff we're familiar with, some things that have changed on their head, and because we don't know what's coming, I'm really excited about the series as a whole. I also have faith in Marvel to be able to nail this because of their success with X-Men 97, which they made sure to work into the trailer by sneaking that in there as if we didn't already know already. Maybe there are some new Spider-Man fans who are going to watch this who didn't watch X-Men 97, but there I think are several opportunities for the show to be really, really awesome. And, you know, it comes out in a month, so we don't have to wait that long to see. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. As always, how are you feeling about this trailer? How are you feeling about this show? And of course, if there's some Easter eggs, things I missed, whatever you noticed, please leave them in the comments, and I'll make sure to mention them whenever they're apropos at the channel and future breakdowns for the show. In the meantime, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, still giving away a PS5 at the channel. Tomorrow is the next announcement. It'll technically be for the What If finale. We'll also give away a one for the upcoming Spider-Man series. We give away one for every Marvel release, which means in 2025, it's going to be a lot of PlayStations. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the future giveaways, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Make sure to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on in order to keep up with our content. And of course, if you like today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places: Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.